Welcome to aminacademy.com. In human anatomy and physiology, let us discuss about oesophagus. Your oesophagus is a hollow muscular tube that carries food and liquid from your throat to your stomach. Muscles in your oesophagus propel food down to your stomach. One of the most common symptoms of esophagus problem is heartburn, a burning sensation in the middle of your chest. Problem with the esophagus include acid reflux and GERD. The esophagus is the hollow muscular tube that passes food and liquid from your throat to your stomach. It functions as part of your digestive system. The esophagus is about 25 centimeter long and about 2 centimeter in diameter and lies in the median plane in the thorax in front of the vertebral column behind the trachea and the heart. It is continuous with the pharynx above and just below the diaphragm. It joins the stomach. It passes between muscle fibers of the diaphragm behind the central tendon at the level of 10th thoracic vertebra. Immediately the esophagus has passed through the diaphragm. It curves upward before opening into the stomach. This sharp angle is believed to be one of the factors that prevents the regurgitations, that is backflow of gastric contents into the esophagus. The upper and lower end of the esophagus are closed by sphincters. The upper cryopharyngeal or upper esophageal sphincter prevents air passing into the esophagus during inspiration and the aspiration of esophageal content. The cardiac or lower esophageal sphincter prevents the reflux of acid gastric contents into the esophagus. There is no thickening of the circular muscles in this area, and this sphincter is therefore physiological. That is, this region can act as a sphincter without the presence of the anatomical features. There are four layers of tissue as shown in the figure, as the esophagus is almost entirely in the thorax. The outer covering, the adventitia, consists of elastic fibrous tissue that attaches the esophagus to the surrounding structures. Blood supply, arterial, the thoracic region is supplied mainly by the paired esophageal arteries, branches from the thoracic aorta. The abdominal region is supplied by branches from the interior phrenic arteries and the left gastric branch of the iliac artery. Venous drainage. From the thoracic regions, venous drainage is into the azygos and hemiazygos veins. The abdominal part drains into the left gastric vein. There is a venous flexus at the distal end that links the upward and downward venous drainage. That is the general and portal circulations. Function of the mouth, pharynx, and esophagus. When food is taken into the mouth, it is chewed, masticated by the teeth, and moved around the mouth by the tongue and muscles of the cheeks. It is mixed with the saliva and formed into a soft mass or bolus ready for swallowing. The length of time that food remains in the mouth largely depends on the consistency of the food. Some foods need to be chewed longer than others before the individual feels that the bolus is ready for swallowing. Swallowing regulations in the stages of oral stage, pharyngeal stage, and oesophagus stages. Descending bolus to pass into the stomach. Usually, constrictions of the cardiac sphincter prevents reflux of gastric acid into the esophagus. Other factors preventing gastric reflux include the attachment of the stomach to the diaphragm by the peritoneum. The acute angle formed by the position of the esophagus is it enters the fundus of the stomach. The walls of the esophagus are lubricated by mucus which assisted the passage of the bolus during the peristaltic contractions of the muscular wall. Now let us more details. We'll see now esophagus. Look at this. Esophagus is a muscular tube that connects the pharynx to the stomach. The transporting food via muscular contractions called peristalsis. It is divided into the cervical, thoracic, and abdominal parts, and its wall consists of four layers: mucosa, submucosa, muscularis, propria, and adventitia. Key functions include preventing air from entering the stomach and stopping stomach contents from refluxing back, managed by the upper and lower esophageal sphincters respectively. We'll see that anatomy. Structure of esophagus, a muscular tube approximately 25 centimeter long in adults. It is conduit between the pharynx and the stomach. Parts, it is automatically divided into three segments, and it is anatomically divided into three segments. That is cervical, the upper part located in the neck; thoracic, that is the longest segment running through the chest; abdominal, the lowest part which passes through the diaphragm to enter the stomach. Wall layers. The wall has four distinct layers: mucosa, the innermost lining made of stratified squamous epithelium. Next, submucosa, a layer of connective tissue beneath the mucosa. Muscularis propria, composed of an outer longitudinal and in an inner circular layers of muscle fibers. Adventitia, the outer connective tissue layers, the very bottom portion has a serosa. Muscle, the upper third of the muscle layer is voluntary striated muscles. The middle is a mix of striated and smooth muscles, and the lower third is entirely smooth muscles. Physiology. The swallowing, the process begins when a food bolus is swallowed. The epiglottis covers the trachea to prevent food from entering the airways. Peristalsis. Coordinated rhythmic muscular contractions propel the food bolus down the esophagus to the stomach. Sphincters. Upper esophageal sphincter, UES, a sphincter at the top of esophagus that relaxes to allow food to enter. Lower esophageal sphincter, that is LES, a physiological sphincter at the bottom that prevents stomach contents from refluxing back up into the esophagus. Secretion. Mucus is produced by esophageal mucosa to lubricate the passage of food. Nerve control. Peristalsis is controlled by the nervous system, specifically the vagus nerve, which both excites and inhibits muscle contractions. Clinical significance. Gastroesophageal reflux disease (GERD) occurs when the lower esophageal sphincter becomes weak, allowing stomach acid to reflux into the esophagus. Achalasia, a condition where the lower esophageal sphincter is too tight, preventing food from passing into the stomach smoothly. So far we discussed about in human anatomy and physiology, we discussed about esophagus. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.